Hey guys, several of you have reached out talking about that you were having a little bit of difficulty with Q1, the Pythagorean Theorem IXLs. So what I decided to do was make you a short video going through some of the word problems because I know that I did not work the word problems with you in my notes, and so I apologize for that. So let's kind of look at a couple of them together, okay? The first thing that I want to point out is that in IXL there is a learn with an example option, and so it's located directly above the word problem on the first one that you go right before you start on the modules, okay? And so it says learn with an example. So if I click on that, it goes through a sample question and step by step how to work that question. Okay, so that is something that is there for you. Okay, so let's read this word problem. So it says Colton lives 20 kilometers due south of his parents' house and 15 kilometers west of his grandparents' house. On his birthday, Colton drove from his house to his parents, and from there he drove in a straight line to his grandparents' house and then back home. How far did Colton drive on his birthday? Okay, so we're going to start with Colton. He lives south of his parents, so his parents are to the north of him. So that's a little kind of wording, grammar kind of things. Okay, he also lives west of his grandparents, so his grandparents are to his east. Okay. We're going to, since it says due south and due west, we're going to assume that they form a 90-degree angle. Okay, and so let's connect that so that we have a right triangle. What it says is that he drove to his parents, so he goes this way. He drove to his grandparents and then back home. And wants to know how far he traveled on his birthday. Okay, so let's fill in some values. So he's 20 kilometers from his parents. He's 15 kilometers from his grandparents, but it doesn't tell us how far it is in a straight line from his parents to his grandparents' house. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is figure out how far it is from his parents' house to his grandparents' house. Well, we have a right triangle, so we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so remember that's a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where the legs or the non-hypotenuse sides are a and b. So this is, we'll call this a and this b. It doesn't matter which order which ones you call which. So I could have let 20 be b and 15 be a, and it would have been fine. Okay, 20 squared plus 15 squared equals c squared, because that's what I'm looking for. So 20 squared plus 15 squared is 625. Okay. Remember, when solving with a square root, with a square, I'm going to square root that. I think that's 25, but let's check. It is. So the square root of 625 is 25. Okay. Now, one of the problems that I noticed is that you guys were putting in 25 as the answer. That is not the answer. Okay, it asks you how far did he drive. I need the perimeter. So if this is 25, I need to add all of my pieces together. So he went 20 miles or 20 kilometers to his parents' house, 25 kilometers to his grandparents' house, and 15 kilometers back home, for a total of 60 kilometers. Okay. So that's how you work the word problems. Please reach out again if you need any more help, if there's anything that you're struggling with, or if maybe I didn't cover something that you were covering or you were struggling with. The biggest thing is make sure that you are reading the problem. So like this next question that popped up for me, it asks for the width. So it doesn't always ask for perimeter, okay? So it just, this one is just solving for the missing length, okay? We can work through this one too, just so you can kind of see. So it says a dog runs 65 yards from one corner of a park to the other. So I have a rectangular park. He goes from corner to corner, 65 yards. The length of the park is 56 yards. What is the width? Okay. It's a rectangle, so this is a right triangle. Okay, so all I'm doing is solving this right triangle for the missing side. Okay, so we'll let this be, we can call this A, we can call this B, there's C. Okay, so A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So W, I could have left that A. I didn't have to substitute with W, just kind of an old habit. 56 squared is a really big number. 3136. 65 squared is 4225. Subtract. Minus that. So I get 1089. And remember to undo the squaring, I've got to square root. That gives me a width of 33. So we can check that, make sure we did that correctly. All right, so, excuse me. So please just make sure that you're looking at the problem. This one says, what's the missing leg? If I jump a level, it asks for the length of the hypotenuse, so it's asking for missing length. Okay. So just make sure you're reading the problem, guys. I think that's probably the biggest. I also know that sometimes visualizing what's happening in the word problem can be a little difficult, okay? So if you get stuck on one, you're not sure how to draw it, just take a picture of it, send it to me in Canvas or an email, and I will look at it and I will help you set it up, okay? I don't mind doing that. All right, so just keep in mind, these are the way Pythagorean theorem questions show up on your ACT. So it's really important that you practice doing these. All right, have a great day, guys. And I look forward to seeing you when we get back together, hopefully later in April. Okay, all right, have a good one, guys.